Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Here are some uses for the Copy Subject feature in macOS Ventura. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. The ability to copy the subject out of a photo in macOS Ventura can be incredibly handy in a variety of different situations. Let's start with a simple example. Let's say you wanted to send a picture of someone or something in a message. Well, you can do it without the background by simply going to the photo in your Photos app. And then you're going to control click, two-finger click on the trackpad or right click on the mouse and come up with the context menu. You should see Copy Subject appear there. You should see it highlighted in the background. You can see that glowing effect around it and you can select Copy Subject. Now you can simply switch to another app that accepts an image as pasted content. For instance, in Messages, I can simply paste into the message here and you can see just the subject appears. You can use that in a variety of situations. For instance, here maybe I want to show somebody a chair I want to buy. I could use Copy Subject, grab the chair, and then paste it into a message. Another use is being able to use somebody's photo in your contacts without including the background. This is a little trickier because here I can certainly control click on this photo in the Photos app. But when I go to Copy Subject, I just get that in the clipboard now. Now when I go to the Contacts app, there's no way for me to paste that in, unfortunately. So instead, I'm going to launch Preview. And in Preview I can go to File, New from Clipboard. And I get a new image with just the subject there. As an added bonus, I can now crop the photo. So I'm going to just drag and create a section here that I can crop and then go to Tools and then Crop or Command K. Now I can save this image even just temporarily. I'm just going to save it here to the desktop. And now I could drag this into there and I can further adjust like that. And now I've got my contact photo. It's a little easier to use with Freeform because you can copy and paste. So I'm going to copy subject from this photo here, switch to Freeform, and let's say I want to make an organizational chart. And it would be nice to have pictures of everybody, but I only have pictures that have all these different backgrounds. So now if I paste in here, I get a picture that doesn't include the background and everything will look a little more uniform. I could even go in here and crop and only have part of the image. This is also handy for social media profile pictures. So if I use the Copy Subject here, then I can open up a nice background in Preview. And I can paste over that. And then I could readjust and then crop like that. You saw before how you didn't actually have to have a person or a pet as the subject. Something like this chair, which stands out in this image here, can be used in Copy Subject. I'm going to grab that, go to Preview, and create something new from that subject there. And then I could save this, and this could be useful as a product picture. Say if you wanted to post this chair on eBay or something that you made on Etsy. You can get rid of the entire background really easily and just post that object. It might look better and allow you to eliminate other things that may have been in the picture. You can also use this to make presentations look better. See how I just have a regular photo here with the frame around it? Well, it would look a lot better if it was just the subject of the photo and they blended in with the background. Now I could delete this photo here, go back to the Photos app, use Copy Subject, and then paste them in there and put it on the slides like that. But I could also just take care of this right in Keynote. Just select this image here and go to Format Image and there's a Remove Background button which does the same thing. It's using the same functionality. So now I end up with just the person there. Let's go and get rid of the frame. And now I can enlarge it and now there they are on the background. You can also do this in Pages to make documents look better. So for instance, I could have a regular image here in my document and it's just a rectangle and I could put a frame around it. But I could also go to Format Image here and remove background, or just use Copy Subject and paste that in. And the default here for Format Arrange is to have automatic text wrapping. You can set that to around, and then it's going to kind of fit the shape of whatever it is you've got there. So you can have it wrap around like that. In the past pages it's had the ability to do this as long as the background is a pretty solid color. But now you can remove the background from almost any photo. You can also use this to make video thumbnails, say for YouTube. In fact, this is how I do it. Now so far I've showed you how to use Copy Subject in the Photos app, but you can also use it in Quick Look. So I just have an image here. I'm going to select it in the Finder and press the spacebar for Quick Look. And when I Control click, I get Copy Subject. Now I can go here into another app. I'm using Pixelmator Pro here and paste. And there I am. So now I'll move myself to the front and I can even assign a border like that. Of course this works really well because I'm using a green screen, but it still works if I was just using a regular photo with things in the background. So when you copy a subject, it's not correct to say that the background of that new image is white. It's actually not any color. It's transparent. So you've created a semi-transparent image, and that's why when you paste it over another image you just see the subject. It doesn't paste a rectangle of color. And that means you can use it as an overlay in iMovie. So I'm going to create a new document in Preview like I did before with just the subject. And you can see the gray showing you that it's a transparent background. So I'm going to save that to the desktop. And it'll save as a PNG to preserve that transparency. Now I can drag and drop that in here into iMovie. And let's go and switch the cropping to simply fit. Let's switch the overlay to picture in picture. And now I've got a semi-transparent overlay here that can appear over a video. Now in addition to being able to take the subject and put them on top of another background, you can simply alter the photo by only changing what's in the background, not the subject. So for instance for this image here in Photos, I'm actually going to bring up the context menu, choose Edit With, and Edit with Preview. So what I'm going to do here is go to Tools and then Remove Background, Convert to PNG, and now Command C to copy just the subject. Now I'm going to do Command Z to undo, go back to the original image. I'm going to bring up the markup tools here and then the adjustment tools. And I'm going to adjust and I'm going to cut back the saturation to basically make it black and white. Change the temperature here to kind of create this bluish wintry image here. And then I'm going to paste with Command V the subject back in. Now all I need to do is just adjust to get the subject to be exactly where it was before. And now change the background of the image while still having the subject in the original colors. Of course you can also do the opposite. So I hope this gives you some ideas of different things that you can do with the Copy Subject feature in Ventura. If you have other ideas, I'd love to hear them in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.